So this is kind of a part 2 to a win rate discussion I've been having in video form, and this video is going to specifically talk about Jinx to make it easier to understand the concepts about what I'm talking about. And those concepts are basically 50%, while it means you have a 50-50 chance of winning on that champion in whatever the current meta is, isn't always balanced for every champion because of certain issues. And in Jinx's case, she's a champion that gets mained. She's like Yasuo, Riven, Vayne, Lee Sin, and all those kind of champions, in which case they get played so much and they've been played for so long that their player bases know how to win despite if they're not meta or if they get nerfed. Furthermore, because they're mained, and the reason why they're mained is because these are kind of champions that players just want to play no matter what. So all season long and things like that, they're still going to get played. So when you combine those, you see a champion like Jinx where she's not been meta really at all of Season 6. But people are still playing her, and as such, people are finding ways to win on her because of that. And as such, even if you nerfed her, players won't just drop her like they would if they're just playing a role for just the OP things. Players will then decide, okay, how do I win? Do I just need to change my masteries or runes or something like that? Because I still want to play this champion. So I say that to say, there are examples of champions that sit below 50% at win rate as well, like Vi. Jinxylord said Vi because of her kit and her ultimate specifically. Her at balance is like about 48% win rate. If she's at 50%, it's like her being at like 52%, and she probably needs to be toned down. But Jinx, at balance, sits at about 52% win rate because of her player base, because she gets banned, and because people just figure out ways how to win on her, whether she's meta or not. So if she's at 51 or 50% even, that's actually her 49 or 48%, and she actually needs to be buffed back up to 52%. And this is coming off the back of a latest of Riot's design stream where someone was not understanding how Jinxylord can make the statement that a champion like Jinx at balance actually sits above 50%. And it's not just Jinx, like I said, it's several champions. But furthermore, outside of the win rate, outside of the player base and all that stuff, in my personal opinion, I think a lot of Jinx's counters have been nerfed or just aren't seen as viable right now. Look at Jhin and Ashe. They were what were thought to be Jinx counters. Well, they got nerfed. And for better or for worse, when people see a champion's been nerfed, unless they main that champion, they're going to drop that champion. They think they're weak, they're bad. So those are kind of out of Jinx's way. Twitch, which in my opinion is like an older school Jinx counter, I see him more in the jungle than in lane. So when you pretty much take away all of Jinx's lane counters and kind of just leave her to just be out of control, yeah, her win rate is actually creeping up even more. And yes, if her at balance is 52% and she's reaching 55%, that is her pretty much being at like 53% and does actually need to be toned down. But the reasons why I think she needs to be toned down, or she would be toned down, is actually because I think her counters are actually kind of bad right now. And I don't know what exactly nerf they could hit Jinx with going forward, because all they did was like give a love tap kind of buff to the Super Mega Death Rocket, an ability that cannot kill you unless you were already missing health. So even if you get sniped across the map and you like rage and all chat about stupid globals and all that stuff, even if it hit you, it can only kill you if you were low on life. So, I don't know, even if they revert that, it's not like necessarily that's the thing. In other words, what I'm saying is, that buff is not what sent her out of control over the edge. So going forward, I don't know what exactly they would have to do to Jinx to bring her a little bit more back in line. Maybe they just actually buff her counters. So going forward, I'm just saying, don't be surprised if you see her or just several champions, when they creep up, if you see their counters get buffed instead of them being nerfed, because there's a good chance if they're a champion that gets mained, then their player base is just finding ways to win no matter what. Furthermore, people are saying Hurricanes of Feather is a disgusting combo, not just on Jinx, but on anybody that builds it. And having experimented with it a little bit, it kind of can be. So, heading towards the preseason, we might see the Mastery, Keystone Masteries, not be removed, but maybe just get adjusted a bit. They might add in a few more with the Assassin update coming. Who knows? With the Assassin update itself could be a nerf to Jinx and just other champions like her, period, because it's an assassin. People are like, oh my goodness, assassins. QSS is dead, so there's no way I can play this role anymore, and blah blah blah. But sticking on Jinx specifically, I just wanted to point out that win rate at 50% isn't always necessarily the case, just because there are other factors that can play into it. So thank you for watching if you did watch this video. I'm free to have more discussion about this in the comment section, so feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, hit me up on Twitter even if you want. But that's all for this video. Life is full of a lot of kinks, so I don't know which video will be next. So until next time, take care. From the Fire God FS.